Buffalo Bills was posting about Shedeur Sanders. The Tennessee Titans, real good, moving around, sitting in the pocket, throwing that ball. Shedeur Sanders.
Were you surprised when you got the call to be in a Pro Bowl?
Yeah. I was surprised.
Yeah. And
it wasn't like I was just sitting there expecting it like, yeah, I'm going to definitely be in there.
Yeah, because you were like half the season, right? You didn't.
Well, I just didn't have too much thought in it.
I see.
What's the great show thing here? You mentioned he's wearing the same sweatpants. It's his first Pro Bowl after.
NFL teams are now marketing Shedeur Sanders highlights after he absolutely dominated the Pro Bowl on his very first play. And what we're witnessing right now is historic. The Buffalo Bills posted about Shedeur Sanders. The Tennessee Titans posted about Shedeur Sanders. Teams across the entire NFL are using Shedeur's highlights to promote the Pro Bowl itself. And that tells you everything you need to know. The NFL understands one simple truth: anytime Shedeur Sanders is involved, it's must-see TV. When you actually watch the highlights, it becomes obvious why. Perfect timing on his throws. Deadly accuracy. And an arm that looks like it's been locked in the lab every single day since the season ended. This didn't look like a rookie just having fun at an exhibition game. This looked like a quarterback making a statement. So let's break it down. Why are NFL teams fighting to market Shedeur Sanders? Why did one Pro Bowl appearance instantly shift the conversation? And why does this performance have people saying he's already ready for the next level? More importantly, why do the Cleveland Browns need to get this man some weapons immediately? Because if this is what Shedeur Sanders looks like in a Pro Bowl setting, the league might not be ready for what comes next.
Weapons immediately.
Shedeur Sanders is going to the Pro Bowl, and really he's exposing that all the fake hate that you see online is just that. It's fake hate, because when he pulls up to the Pro Bowl, I don't know if you can tell, but everybody is swarming him. Yesterday, obviously, he was giving back to the kiddos, having them a great time, XYZ, and now he's going viral with all the interviews. Everybody's putting mics in QB1's face, so let's see what he has to say. Let's hear it.
When I get the call, I just sit there and I'm like, dang, this is real life right now. Like, this crazy.
Let me get this straight. Y'all were talking all this trash about Shedeur Sanders all season, but he just made the Pro Bowl as a rookie. I legit don't think y'all understand how impressive this is as a Browns quarterback. We remember Kevin Stefanski literally sabotages men mid-game by giving him the wrong armband. Despite all the hate, dysfunction, starting as a fifth-string quarterback for Cleveland, he's already made more Pro Bowls than any quarterback in Cleveland since 2008. Yeah, that's insane. And look, he only started 7 games. Here's his stats: 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and a 3-4 record. And while that might not seem the best, you got to take it all into context. I don't think I understand how limited that Browns offense was before Shedeur got in there. He could actually stretch the field.
Alright, let's get straight into this. Because what just happened at the Pro Bowl is absolutely massive. It's a wrap for the Shedeur Bowl. Shedeur Sanders went out there and put on a show. And I know a lot of y'all were mad he even made the Pro Bowl. But guess what? It happened. And he showed out. Now let me address the haters real quick. I don't want to hear anything about interceptions or flag football. This is the Pro Bowl. Dak Prescott had a safety with no rushers. It's flag football. It's supposed to be fun. But here's the difference. Shedeur Sanders looked comfortable. That arm looked strong. That timing looked sharp. And it definitely didn't look like someone who's been sitting around since the season ended. It looked like a quarterback who's been training every single day. Now here's what really stunned me. Other NFL teams were using Shedeur Sanders to market the Pro Bowl. The Buffalo Bills posted him. The Tennessee Titans posted him. Teams across the league were posting Shedeur Sanders highlights. That tells you everything. The NFL knows what time it is. Anytime Shedeur Sanders is involved, it's must-see TV. That's exactly why they had to make him part of the program. Now let's talk about the highlights. Because when you actually watch Shedeur play, you see why teams are pushing him. First highlight: perfect timing on the throw. Perfect rhythm. Even flashes the watch. Yeah, you know what time it is. Second highlight: touchdown pass. Shedeur looking calm, confident, and in control on the big stage. Third highlight: look at this ball right here. That was a dot. Straight money to the big man. Even linemen get touchdowns when Shedeur Sanders is involved. This was a hell of an event. Now let me be clear, yes, it's flag football. It's not real game speed. Nobody's saying this was the Super Bowl. But if you give Shedeur Sanders legitimate weapons, and he's not stuck throwing to Jerry Jeudy and practice squad level delivery drivers, this man can be a real threat at the quarterback position. Cleveland needs to stop playing. Get this man some weapons. Immediately. Because if this is what Shedeur looks like when it's just the Pro Bowl, the league might not be ready for what comes next.
About the player DJ Moore on the field, when I turned the film on from last year, all right, before we got here as coaches, and you turn this film on from Carolina, you say, man, there's something missing. Really, it's something missing. Like this dude, not that he isn't still special, but the special doesn't show up all the time. Well, for me, this year, the special was on display in terms of his route running, in terms of his run out the catch, blocking for his teammate.
Let me also talk about what this means for the Cleveland Browns, because this part matters. I really hope, and I genuinely pray, the Browns go out and get some real weapons around Shedeur Sanders. You saw it today. When he's surrounded by capable guys who can separate, catch, and actually help him, he looks mighty comfortable. He was moving smoothly, sitting in the pocket, delivering the ball with confidence. Shedeur Sanders is one of them ones. Now let me transition to something Rich Eisen said, because what Todd Monkin said about taking the Browns' job is powerful, and it changes the entire conversation. Rich Eisen explained that Todd Monkin was introduced as the new head coach of the Cleveland Browns, and it was an emotional moment. Monkin even cursed and admitted he promised himself he wouldn't cry. And Rich Eisen said this is the soundbite that's going to reverberate. Here's why. A lot of people were questioning the Browns' decision. Jim Schwartz not being retained after the process played out was being laid at the feet of a front office and ownership group that many people have labeled dysfunctional. The criticism was loud. Why mess with the side of the ball that doesn't even need fixing? That's the narrative. But Todd Monkin addressed it head on. He said, "We're going to keep the same system. We're still going to let them attack. We're still going to let them play free. I can't see it any other way. They're a big reason why I took this job, the defensive players." Then he made something crystal clear. "I didn't take this job because of Jim Schwartz. I have a lot of respect for Jim Schwartz, and I'd hope he has respect for me. But I took this job because of the players that are here, the ownership, Andrew Berry, and the opportunity to build this roster from the ground up, especially on the offensive side." And then Todd Monkin said something even more powerful. He said, "When I was preparing for the Cleveland Browns, I wasn't chipping Jim Schwartz. I was chipping Myles Garrett. When I was sliding protection to the outside linebackers or Grant Delpit blitzing off the edge, I was sliding protection to the players. When I worried about throwing right because of Denzel Ward, or left because of Tyson Campbell, that's who I was worried about. I wasn't chipping a coach. I was chipping Myles Garrett." That tells you everything. This man understands talent. He understands players. And he understands where the real threats come from. Now connect the dots. You've got a quarterback in Shedeur Sanders who looks comfortable, confident, and ready. You've got a head coach who respects elite talent and knows how to build around it. So the message to Cleveland is simple. Stop playing around. Stop half-stepping. And get this man some weapons, immediately. Because the foundation is there. And if the Browns get this right, this can turn into something very real, very fast.
I tell you what, rocking with him. I'm gonna watch a little bit of this.
Hey, I'm going upstairs. Hut. Here we go. We don't need you doing nothing deep. We need you right here. Hey, T, you outside to the right? Yeah.
Now let me break down why this statement is so important, because this part went over a lot of people's heads. Rich Eisen said, "I don't know if this brings Jim Schwartz back, because he's under contract. But the bottom line is, this lays down a marker as to who the ownership group chose as the head coach, whose room it is, and whose team it is. And that's an important marker to lay down if Jim Schwartz does come back. That's the key. Todd Monkin just made it crystal clear, this is his team. Not Jim Schwartz's team. Not a shared team. His team." Rich Eisen continued by saying the last thing you want is a split locker room. And what Monkin did was tell the players, you're still going to be able to play the same way you've been playing. The voice may be different, but the identity stays intact. He showed respect without surrendering authority. And when Todd Monkin said, "I didn't take the job because he was here," that took real confidence. That took real backbone. That's a head coach standing up on day one and saying, "This is my locker room." Now let me bring this back to Shedeur Sanders, because what Todd Monkin is building in Cleveland is the perfect situation for him. Monkin said he took this job because of the players and because of the opportunity to build the roster from the ground up on the offensive side of the ball. That's Shedeur Sanders. That's the future. Now let's talk about the concern Browns fans had on the defensive side. Rich Eisen summed it up perfectly. He said every Browns fan he hears from is saying, "We finally got an offensive guy, but the defensive guy is mad and left. The one side of the ball we didn't need to mess up, we messed up." That was the fear. But Todd Monkin shut that down immediately. He said the defensive players are a big reason he took the job. He's keeping the same system. He's letting them attack. He's letting them play free. So now you've got stability on defense and a clear vision on offense. And this is where the Pro Bowl matters again. Because what we saw from Shedeur Sanders at the Pro Bowl is exactly what Todd Monkin needs to build around. Shedeur looked comfortable. The arm looked strong. The accuracy was sharp. The timing was clean. And let's be honest about something else. Look at the weapons Shedeur had at the Pro Bowl. Elite wide receivers. Guys who can separate. Guys who can actually catch. And what happened? He dominated. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. Now add one more layer to this. The Buffalo Bills posted Shedeur Sanders. The Tennessee Titans posted Shedeur Sanders. Teams across the NFL are using his highlights to market the Pro Bowl. That tells you everything. The league knows what time it is. Anytime Shedeur Sanders is involved, it's must-see TV. So the message to Cleveland couldn't be clearer. You've got the quarterback. You've got the coach. You've got the foundation. Now stop dragging your feet and get this man some weapons, immediately.
That Nahshon Wright made the Pro Bowl, but so did Browns rookie Shedeur Sanders.
I hate to say it, but Shedeur being named to the Pro Bowl sort of diminished everybody added to the Pro Bowl. It's just like, how can you add a guy who had more interceptions than touchdowns, a guy that was a fifth-round pick?
What this really means is simple. The NFL recognizes Shedeur Sanders as a star. He's a draw. He's someone people want to watch. And that's exactly why NFL teams are using his highlights to market the Pro Bowl. They know he drives viewership. Now let me address the interceptions real quick, because people keep reaching for that like it's some kind of gotcha. Look, it's flag football. Dak Prescott took a safety with no rushers. This is not real football. This is entertainment. It's a showcase. And even with the interceptions, Shedeur still threw 2 touchdowns. He made perfect throws. He showed timing, accuracy, and confidence. He showed you why he's elite. Now let's talk about what Todd Monkin said about building this roster, because this part matters a lot. Monkin said he took the job because of the opportunity to build the roster from the ground up on the offensive side of the ball. That's not coach talk. That's a plan. That means Todd Monkin is going to go out and get Shedeur weapons. That means he's going to get him offensive linemen. That means he's going to build an offense designed to let Shedeur dominate, not survive. Rich Eisen even pointed out how much confidence that took. When Monkin said, "I didn't take this job because of Jim Schwartz. I took it because of the players," that took real backbone. And when he said he wasn't chipping Jim Schwartz, he was chipping Myles Garrett, that told you everything you need to know. That's a coach who understands players win games, not titles, not resumes, not reputations. Now let's address the split locker room concern, because people were worried about that too. Rich Eisen said the last thing you want is a divided locker room. And Todd Monkin handled that perfectly by laying down a clear marker. He showed respect to Jim Schwartz, but he also made it clear, this is my team. No confusion. No power struggle. no mixed messages. Rich Eisen also floated the idea that Jim Schwartz could still come back, saying something along the lines of, "We know you might not want to be here, but here's the money." And that might happen. But either way, the message has already been sent. Todd Monkin is in charge. The direction is set. And the future of this offense runs through Shedeur Sanders. So when you put it all together, the Pro Bowl performance, the league marketing him, the confidence from the new head coach, and the plan to build the offense the right way, it becomes very clear. The NFL knows what time it is. Cleveland better know what time it is. Because if you give Shedeur Sanders the right protection and real weapons, what we saw at the Pro Bowl won't be an exception, it'll be the baseline. And that's when things get scary.
Players. I didn't take this job because of Jim Schwartz. I have a lot of respect for Jim Schwartz, as I would hope he has for me. But I took it because of the players that are here, the ownership, Andrew Berry, and the ability to build this roster from the ground up on the offensive side. When I was preparing for the Cleveland Browns, I wasn't trying to chip Jim Schwartz. I was chipping Myles Garrett. And when I was sliding a protection.
But even if Jim Schwartz does come back, Todd Monkin just made one thing crystal clear. He's in charge. Now let me bring all of this together. Shedeur Sanders just put on a show at the Pro Bowl. NFL teams like the Buffalo Bills and the Tennessee Titans were actively marketing his highlights. And Todd Monkin just laid down a marker, saying he took the Browns' job because of the players, not because of Jim Schwartz. That's the perfect storm for Shedeur Sanders. Now let's talk about what this means for the 2026 season. Todd Monkin is building this offense from the ground up. Shedeur Sanders is showing he's ready to dominate. And the NFL itself is signaling that Shedeur is a star. So I want to ask you something, and really think about this before you comment. After watching Shedeur Sanders dominate the Pro Bowl and seeing NFL teams use his highlights to promote the event, do you believe the Cleveland Browns have a franchise quarterback? Because based on everything we've seen, it's clear Shedeur Sanders is ready to take the league by storm. So there you have it. NFL teams are marketing Shedeur Sanders' highlights after he dominated the Pro Bowl on his very first play. The Buffalo Bills, the Tennessee Titans, and others were posting about him because the NFL knows one thing for sure: Shedeur Sanders is must-see TV. He showed perfect timing, deadly accuracy, and an arm that looked strong and ready. At the same time, Todd Monkin laid down a clear marker. He said he took the Browns' job because of the players, not Jim Schwartz. He said he was chipping Myles Garrett, not coaches. The Browns are building something real. And Shedeur Sanders is the centerpiece. The future in Cleveland is bright. If you think Shedeur Sanders proved he's ready to dominate, drop a W in the comments. If you think the Browns need to get him weapons ASAP, let me know. And don't forget to subscribe, because we're covering every single step of this journey. Hit that bell.